Hey everyone, happy Friday. Hope you guys are having a great day. It's the weekend finally upon us, which is great. This is being recorded kind of late. I got off work late, so I had to get some stuff done. But nonetheless, we got to talk about what happened today with Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously had a wild day today, and that was mainly due to SEC statements or sources saying that the SEC is not happy with the filings that have been for the Bitcoin spot ETF. We'll take a look at that. We also will take a look at Hive provided their fiscal year numbers for 2023. So we'll take a look at that. Also, there's some errors, I think, in the reporting that they released this morning. We'll get into that, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that, okay? But as always, you guys know the drill here. This is not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research, and I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure, as always. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out, and hit the little notification bell. That way you know when I post new videos. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets here really quick while we're at it, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So, like I said, Bitcoin had a wild day today. I mean, the miners in the morning were up 5, 7, 8, 10%. Some of them were up even higher than that. And then the story came out and Bitcoin started crashing and the miners started crashing. So Bitcoin had a wild swing today. It was at a high of 31,277 a day and a low of 29,417. So that is what, roughly $1,600 and change swing from the upside to the downside and then back up to the middle where it closed at 30,466. So we were just up 0.07%. So regardless of what happened today, we were still in the green, which is still good. But the S&P was up 1.23%. Dow Jones was up 0.84%. Nasdaq was kind of flat in the day. But overall, the miners were also mixed today. Like I said, the miners started out really good in the morning. Pre-hours, they were in the green. And then, when I said the news came out, everything just kind of fell down. So we'll take a look at those as well. But Bitcoin right now is doing pretty good on the daily, 4-hour chart. 1-hour chart is still looking a little iffy to me. Trying to figure out what's going on with that one, where you can see here that the RSI is at 47. Last time it was back here. It's right around the same spot, maybe a little bit lower than that. Not much. So we'll see what happens over the weekend with it. But I said in yesterday's video, Fridays are usually pretty volatile for Bitcoin, and today was a pretty volatile day. You can see here on the candle chart, right at 8 o'clock when that story came out, Bitcoin just crashed pretty big. It was down 2.82%. It was down 873% on that wick alone. And then it slowly climbed back up to where it actually ended up for the day, okay? Ethereum was also down today as well. If we look at it here, it kind of actually rebounded, looks like, on the day. Not really, but let's see here. It was actually up today. It was up 4.4%. So that one did actually a lot better than Bitcoin did. It's down now 0.66%. So it closed at 1,933, which is good. And you can see on the daily chart on the RSI 59, it is right. It's actually higher than where it was before. So that's actually a good sign for that one. If we look at the 1-hour chart really quick as well, we can see that the RSI is at 59. Last time was 59 back here. Price was lower. Price is now higher. So that's good there as well. Okay. Now let's get into the miners, see what happened there. Like I said, the miners had a pretty wild day today. Most of them, they started up early. Let's see if we can, let's go to daily chart on that one. You can see that they started out higher and they've come back down lower. So ANY was down 3% today. Argo was down 8.57%. BitDigital was down 6.88%. BitDeer was down 5.72%. Bitfarms was actually up today, 4.26%. You can see the wild day that it had on the candle there. Cypher was down 1.38%. Also a wild candle. Same thing for CleanSpark, up 0.7%. Cores was up 2.16%. It was up much higher, hit a new high here, 94 cents, almost 95 cents. Had Bitcoin continued to go up or we didn't get the news, I think some of these miners would have done a really good day. DigiHouse was down 3.23%. DMG was up 0.28%. Greenidge was up 14.17%. So they had a pretty good day there. They're kind of bouncing off their bottom here a little bit. Hive was flat on the day. Hut 8 was up 2.48%. Iris Energy was up, down 2.1%. Marathon was up 0.29%. Mawson was flat on the day. Riot was up 1.37%. Soluna was up 2.41%. Stronghold was up 6.09%. TerraWolf was up 1.16%. Okay, so a mixed day on the miners today. It was a crazy day, actually. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well while we're at it. Let's see what's going on there. And we can see on the 7-day average, we are at 356 million right now, terahashes. On the 1 day, we are at, well, we're coming back up to here, 397 million. So we're back up. Okay, so the story that obviously came out this morning was, not that one. I'm going to start out with this one. Coinbase, Bitcoin tumbles on report of SEC spot Bitcoin ETF filings inadequate. And what they mean by that is spot Bitcoin ETF application from BlackRock and Fidelity, among others, had helped drive Bitcoin higher over the past 2 weeks, which it did, but then we got the news today, and that news definitely didn't help things out. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, ETF, said recent filings to launch its spot Bitcoin ETF are inadequate, reported by the Wall Street Journal Friday morning, citing sources close to the matter. The news sent the price of Bitcoin plunging by 1,000, a little bit more than that, or more than 3% in the space of a few minutes, which, yeah, that was true. At press time, Bitcoin was trading just above 30,000. According to the story, the SEC has informed NASDAQ and CBOE, the exchanges that filed the spot ETF paperwork for several of the asset managers, including BlackRock and Fidelity, that the applications aren't sufficiently clear and comprehensive. Okay, so what the heck do they mean by that? At issue, the story continued, is the filings didn't have enough detail with respect to the surveillance sharing agreements, including which spot Bitcoin exchange would be used. The asset managers could update their applications and refile, and the CBOE indicated to the Wall Street Journal and to CoinDesk that it plans to do so. I'm guessing if CBOE does it, I'm guessing NASDAQ will do it as well. The SEC said in previous ETF rejection orders that the sponsor of Bitcoin Trust would have to enter a surveillance sharing agreement with a regulated market of significant size. So we'll see what that comes out to be. But right now we got an update on it saying here that Coinbase will be the surveillance partner for Fidelity. Other Bitcoin ETFs refiled applications say. So it looks like Coinbase now, whether or not they judge Coinbase as a significant size for that will be determined. But CBOE's BZX exchange named crypto exchange Coinbase as the market for its surveillance sharing agreement when it refiled its spot Bitcoin exchange traded ETF funds application for several would be Bitcoin ETF issuers on Friday. Fidelity, WisdomTree, Van Eck, ARK, Invest, Galaxy, Invesco, and BlackRock all filed for spot Bitcoin ETFs over the past few weeks, hoping to succeed at launching a product at the U.S. Securities and Exchange has rejected for years, while BlackRock has filed with NASDAQ. The other companies are working with CBOE. So we'll see what happens going forward. Obviously, the SEC has 45 days normally to review it, and then they can extend it out to 240 days total before they provide a definitive answer. At that rate, we're going to be right before like the halving event or really close to the halving event at 240 days. So we'll see how this is going to play out. Okay, so that's the reason Bitcoin was wild today, along with the miners. So that's it for that. Let's take a look at Hive, and then we'll get into why I think they have an error here, which is kind of a big error there. So this is actually a retransmission. Hive achieves annual revenue ended March 31st, 2023 of 106 million with 2,332 Bitcoin on the balance sheet and mined 3,258 Bitcoin in 2023 fiscal year. That number mined is actually wrong, I believe. And I'll show you guys what I mean here when we get into the details here. So revenue, like discussed in the headline, was 106.3 million for the fiscal year with a gross operating margin of 50.4 million or 47% operating margin on revenue. The company's SG&A for the fiscal year ended March 31st, 2023 was 13.2 million. Therefore, on a cash basis, this corporate margin was positive. So that's good news there. However, here's the part that's wrong, I think. Unless I got something wrong, which I don't think I do, I think they did their math wrong. The company grew its Bitcoin mining ASIC hash rate by 50% in the fiscal year from 2 exahash in March 2022 to 3 exahash in March 2023, which might be the case, but we were using the Bitcoin and Bitcoin equivalent, which was also their GPUs. They were at I believe it was like 3.3. We'll take a look at it, but that was one of those. So this is a little bit misleading in my opinion, I think. And then in fiscal year, the company mined 3,258 Bitcoin from ASICs and 3,503 Bitcoin equivalent when including digital assets mined from GPUs. Right, so they were including those as well for a time being, for at least, well, a couple months at least. We had, what was it, April, May, June, July, August, and then September was, so we had basically half a year where they were mining with GPUs as well to get Bitcoins before Ethereum went to proof of stake. Now, they report 3,503 Bitcoin equivalents. I keep track of all of this stuff here, and this is one of the reasons why we do this, so we can see if the numbers are correct. So based on what they reported as 3,503, if you can see here, this is going to be kind of hard to see for you guys here. The first 9 months of the fiscal year accounted for 3,503 Bitcoins, okay? If you include the last quarter, the Q4 basically, for January, February, and March, it should be a total of 4,295 Bitcoins that they mined, or Bitcoin equivalents total for that. So there's an error there, which unfortunately they got that wrong, which I would have thought that they would have double-checked their numbers a little bit here, but it looks like they only went through 9 months of information here, as we can see going back to here. So this was basically from April to December, which is only 9 months. 3,503 is down here. If we add the other 3 months, we get 4,295. Quite a big difference there. The numbers would have made them look a little bit better there on the sheet. So that is a mistake for them there. Okay, and let's see here. I think that's it that we have here for them. Net loss reported was 236 million. We'll get into some of the numbers here that I have for them on my spreadsheet, and we'll get into some of the metrics as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers we do have here for them. Right now, I keep track of all their quarterly results for all the miners, and we do this so we can see how things are progressing. We'll get into these ratios here in a little bit. Let's take a look at their current assets, and we'll get into liabilities and things like that. Cash and cash equivalents is down. It's about half of where it was in Q3, so they're down to 4.3 million from 8.6. Amounts receivable and prepaid is down a little bit here to 9.3 from 10.7 million. Investments is down also about half, 2.8 from 5.5. Digital currency is up 65.8 million from 38.9. So that's good there because Bitcoin price has gone up in value. So that's definitely helping things out there. So total current assets actually increased overall to 82.4 million from 63.8 million. So that's good there. Property went down to 87.2 million from 93.6. Long-term went up 5.8 from 4.6. And deposits went down to 9.5 from 15.8. So that's some deposits on miners. That's going to be okay to see that. Right of use assets went down a little bit here as well to 10.9 from 11.1. Goodwill was only 67,000 compared to 134,000. So that's good there. Total assets was now 196 million compared to 189 million. So there's a nice increase there as well. So that's good there. Those things are looking good. Liabilities. Accounts payable and accrued liabilities is 9.3 compared to 9.5. A little bit of a decrease, but that's still good. Current portion of lease liabilities went up a little bit here to 2.3 from 2.0. Term loan went down to 7.1 from 7.5. Loans payable pretty much stayed the same. Current income taxability, basically the same, off by about 30,000 or so. So that's total current liabilities went down to actually 21.8, 21.9, I guess you could say, from 22.3. So a little bit of a decrease, which is good. Convertible loan liability component was down to 4.7 from 4.9. Convertible loan derivative component was actually up to 481,000 from 92,000. Loans payable went down to 11.8 million from 12.9, so that's good. Lease liability went down also to 8.1 from 8.2. And total liabilities went down to 47.3 million from 48.5 million, so about $1.2 million less, which is good. Okay, then you got the shareholder equity here. Total shareholder equity with liabilities, you're looking at 196 million from 189 million, so that's good there. That has increased by about 7 million or so, 6 point something million. So that's good there. Revenues, here's where things get a little interesting. So revenues did increase over the Q3 to 17.9 million for the self-mining. They did include other services revenue, which I'm not sure what that was. I'll have to look into that. But that was 228,000. So the total revenue was 18.2 million. The number that I really track is the 17.9 million here, which I was pretty close to that. If we go up here, I actually had them at 18.1 million. So they came in, I was up 1%. So I was still within my 2.5% that I want to be within on these miners. So that's good there. And let's go back down. Revenue. Okay, so revenue, cost of sales. This is a little concerning here. So in Q3, they were at 10.7 million for operating and maintenance costs. In Q4, based on the total number provided for the fiscal year, and then I subtracted the prior 3 quarters to get the Q4 numbers. They came in at almost 14.2 million. So that is definitely an increase there, which is not good. Depreciation and amortization went down a little bit to 11.3 from 20.3 million. So that's good there. And let's see, what are we counting here? Overall, this is basically, I guess this would be net income, negative 7.2 million if you include depreciation in there as well. If you don't include depreciation in there, there would be a 4.1 million and positive on that. Okay, revaluation of digital currencies was 9.6 million, so that was in the positive. Bitcoin has gone up, so that's good to see. Gains on disposable assets was negative 1.7 million. We didn't have anything here reported in Q3. General administrative, also pretty much in line where it's been for the time being. It's gone up a little bit here by about 150,000 to 3.39 million from 3.24 million, or 3.25 million roughly. Foreign exchange gain was negative 4.2 million from a 2 million positive. Share-based compensation was up to 2.9 million from 2.5 million, so that's not good. Don't like seeing that. And overall, that all accounted for about 10.5 million here compared to the 3.8 $7 million, which helped on the foreign exchange on this one on Q3. Okay, let's see here. You guys can look at the other ones here, unrealized gains, impairment, all that stuff. Overall, net loss gain was negative 13 million for the period here in Q4. For the year, it was 236 million. Net loss income for the period was negative 14 million compared to negative 90 million in Q3. So definitely an improvement, an improvement there, which is good to see. Gross profit was 4.1 million. Like I said, gross profit ratio percentage was 177%. And then gross profit minus depreciation was 32 million or 22% for the quarter, which has been coming down here, which isn't good to see. For the year, they were at 47%. But for the quarter, it was down to 22. They were at 25 in Q3, and it's been coming down. So definitely got to work on the expenses on that side of things here for them. Net loss came in at 15 cents negative for the quarter. For the year, was negative $2.85. So at least we did get a smaller loss per quarter here. We had a $1.09 loss in Q3. This is the smallest loss we've had here in the last couple of quarters, which is also good to see. Okay. So based on all that information that we do have on them, go back to the metrics here. Like I said, the BTC mined, I got 4,287. They reported 3,503. Their numbers are off. Their starting hash rate for the year was 3.3 exahash, which included their GPU mining as well. They ended the year with 3, basically. I have them at 3 right now. At that point, their average hash rate was about 3.1 for the year. Hash rate increased. They decreased their hash rate by about 270 if we include the GPUs as well in that. Let's see here. Cost to mine 1 BTC minus depreciation was for the quarter 17.8 or almost 18 million here. 17.9 million. Excuse me, which isn't good. That's gone up quite a bit here. Their best quarter looks like was about Q2. They were at 9.8 thousand compared to Q3, which was 13.6 thousand, and now Q4 is at 17.9. Not sure what's going on there, whether they're paying more for electricity or other expenses that are being attributable to that as well. Okay, debt to equity ratio has come down, which is good. Current ratio went up, which is also good. Book to value is 148 million right now. Enterprise value is 338 million. A beta was 10.1 million. And then revenue, we know what the revenue, general administrative compensation was 6.3 million. That's 34.65%. I think that's pretty high, but it has been coming down here. Their best quarter was for Q1 of last year, 9.78%, but this is definitely too high. Overall for the fiscal year was 20.34%, so not too bad. We'd like to see that below 20% on quarterly as well. Okay, and then shares is what was reported here for the end of March 31st. Was 84.17 million shares, and that's kind of what we're using up here as well now and multiplying that by the stock price to get the market cap right now of the miners, okay? Looking at the numbers here, we can see here that current quarter looks like it's going to be an increase over the Q4 that we're in. This is an estimate right now. The Q3 was their worst quarter that they had. Last 4 quarters of operating costs have also been coming down, and then they're back up in Q4, which isn't good. We'd like to see that come down. Cost to mine 1 BTC has been increasing ever since Q2. Like I said here, BTC mined has also come down here ever since Q2, Q3, and Q4 are pretty close to each other, up a little bit, but nonetheless it's up, so that's good there. Debt to equity ratio has been kind of up and down a little bit. Same with the current ratio, so not a big deal there. They're still in good shape financially there. Based on all this numbers and everything, last 3 quarters, which are now accurate, accurate. I mean, that's what reported. Current quarter is an estimated one. Combined total is going to be 84.4 million right now. 50% net income, which is kind of where they're at right now. It's going to be 42 million, PE of 10. I got them between $5 and 1 cent. And then if we use 75% net income, Bitcoin starts going up. We're looking at $7.52. They're currently at $4.63. I do think that they are undervalued currently, especially if they continue to grow. Like they said, they want to grow to possibly 6 exahash by the end of this year. We'll see if that happens. They have been buying miners, which is good to see. But we'll obviously have to see what happens going forward. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think of them. The numbers, I don't know if I should tweet the numbers they were incorrect on with the BTC. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll tweet that to them and let them know, hey, your numbers are incorrect. Maybe you want to re-upload or, do another press release correcting that. Other than that, all they got to do is keep growing, I think. They're definitely undervalued, in my opinion, right now from where they should be. And we just want to see growth. Growth and timely filings on these things. They've historically been pretty late on these filings. So it'd be nice to get those filed a little bit earlier. along with monthly productions, get those out faster to people as well. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out what's going on with your operations. And that is it. So we're seeing some improvements here, some bad things as well. Like I said, the expenses have to come down. The cost to mine Bitcoin has to come down as well, especially before the halving event, but we'll see, okay? And then tomorrow we'll get into, I ran a couple metrics here today as well and spent about 2-3 hours on that. And I'll show you guys that right here. Just a quick peek at it. So we're going to use a couple metrics here to look over how things, where the miners could be as far as undervalued or overvalued, based on the 3 metrics, comparing it to market cap on some things like exahash, Bitcoin's mined, things like that. Okay, so we'll get into that tomorrow. That should be fun to take a look at, and then we'll see what happens over the weekend. And we got the new month coming up, so we'll have a lot more data coming from the miners for production for June, which is also going to be good to see how they did compared to May. May was obviously a fantastic month for a lot of these miners, with the transaction fees impacting them quite largely, and having a 1 extra day for mining. May had 31 days, June has only 30 days, so that's going to be a little bit of an impact as well to see. Well, we'll see how they grow. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. As always, the spreadsheets will be available to my Patreon members, and I'll see if I can get something for you guys on YouTube as well, the members there for you guys. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.